Yeah, you were going crazy during the pandemic
Oh yeah, man.
because you were one of the people who had gotten out of the military right as the pandemic
That's right.
was happening, right?
Yeah, man. I got on a plane from Frankfurt, Germany.
And you were in the Air Force, right?
I was in the Air Force. Yeah, I was in the Air Force for 10 years, and I've been doing comedy. I did some a little bit there, but I was doing comedy back here in the States, so I'd fly back and do shows. And right when my contract was coming to an end, where I was about to have to either re-enlist or get out, because I was getting shows over here, I was like, sweet, I'll get out and just do shows, you know. And I flew back like March 9th is when I landed. And I got back to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I was going to go see, because Brian Posehn was going to be, the next week? I think it was like the 13th or 14th, which was a Thursday. And I'd seen Posehn many times before. I've hung out with him before in Seattle and in Athens, Georgia at the 40 Watt. And so I was like, sweet, I'm in Raleigh same time Posehn is, so I'm going to go hang out with Posehn. And then that Wednesday, the world shut. And I'm a severely, as you can probably tell, very severely extroverted person. Mm-hmm. I always want to be out and doing something.
Yeah.
And then I had to not be. And I had to learn how to be an introvert, and it was a nightmare.
How are you doing comedy in the military?
Without letting them know.
Just in your time off?
Yeah, I would.
Was it hard to make time for it though, or did you feel
I had saved up a bunch of leave, and so I would take trips every couple months just for fun. Really? Yeah. And I got this real fun Eastern European DNA, which makes this beard grow out in 3 days. So if I take a few days off, the beard would come out, and other comedians just thought I was a road dog. They just would see me and kind of go, oh, I see him all the time. Where is he from? And they had no idea I was flying from Europe. Like,
who is that boy?
Who is that guy? He has the same shit haircut as all those other dudes. Which is funny because now I keep the haircut. I like it.
Oh, yeah?
Now that I don't have to have it, I like it.
Well, yeah, I guess that's there's a reason for everything in the military, right? And there's an efficiency to having short hair.
It's the funny thing. I think almost every other military in the world allows beards.
Oh, really?
Ours doesn't, because our gas masks wouldn't fit right if we were chemically attacked. So we're allowed to have mustaches because that doesn't affect a gas mask, but beards do. And so
no one really just does the mustache too often, right?
They do in the military, yeah.
Oh, really?
Sure, I have a lot of friends. And we, every mustache march, usually November, I have pictures with me with the full-on trucker stash, yeah.
Yeah. Is the mustache creepy, though? Like,
in the military, it's kind of, I don't want to say the word endearing. It's not really that. It's just kind of like, we already look silly. Let's look silly together.
Yeah, I guess you can get away with it with the uniform, but
yeah, once you're wearing the uniform, it becomes like, oh, it's just a silly thing.
Right.
We're all looking stupid together, and
every once in a while, I try my hand at a mustache, and it just doesn't. Maybe I need the military uniform to really.
Yeah. If you went to an army surplus and got the jacket, yeah, then maybe you'd look endearing. Maybe you'd look sweet, like, oh, what a kind old veteran.
Yeah.
With his mustache.
Right.
But yeah, we all did it. I mean, aside from those who couldn't. I mean, I still have friends who are in their 30s who can't grow mustaches. So it's, is what it is.
Can't grow a mustache.
I mean, everyone develops differently. I know, like Adam Devine, can't grow a beard, so he doesn't.
I can't grow a beard. I mean, I can get some patches of fur. But
I would say this didn't connect until I was like 24. It didn't all come together until I was in my mid-20s.
And now it's come together.
Now it's getting gray, and I hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why? You don't like a little salt and pepper?
I do, but it's in the weird like Wolverine patch areas. It's so it's in these weird side corners and stuff, and it's just a reminder that I'm dying faster than I want to.
Yeah, but
I still feel like I'm 25. So.
Right.
Because I came in the military at 25, I got out at 35. So in my brain, I just reverted back to my 25-year-old self.
Yeah.
So hope you don't mind if I smoke.
Oh, not at all.
All right.
I was going to ask
keep
if
the butts
you would.
In here. Yeah.
I feel more comfortable.
I can pollute your lake, Austin.
I feel more comfortable when you're smoking.
It's just it's Easter. I got to sin somehow.
No, I kind of I love secondhand smoke. It's one of my vices. I'm addicted to secondhand smoking.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
You're in the right career then. I would say that if we were in New York more, because back then the comedy clubs were nothing but cigarette smoke. It smelled like bowling alley, cigarette smoke and bad beer.
Yeah. Do the different brands of what kind of cigarettes you smoking?
These are Marlboro Lights, or
Yeah.
Marlboro Gold now. They were lights whenever I started smoking.
I think that's what my grandma would smoke, because it smells like that. Do they have different?
Oh, yeah.
Would I be able to tell the difference in a smell of a cigarette?
If I could probably, if I stopped smoking for a few days, which I tend to do, I can definitely tell the difference. Maybe not between Marlboros, but like between Marlboro, like different types of Marlboros, but Marlboros to like American Spirits to Winstons, and Dorals and things like that.
And what's the difference? They got a little bit of a different flavor?
Yeah,
or
it's just probably a different
smoothness?
tobacco.
Yeah.
Different type of tobacco, grown in a different place. I mean, it's all pretty much East Coast, but I can tell you right now, like the ones in Europe, like European Marlboros, because I have them there,
Yeah.
it's like smoking pine tar.
Really?
Oh my God, they're so strong. Like, you can smoke a whole pack of these, and you might, have a little chest soreness next day, but if you smoke 2 of those, Jesus, man.
Europeans, eh?
Yeah, Europeans.
I thought we were supposed to be tougher than them.
Depends on what part, because...
Their lungs are tougher?
No, I'd say like Western Europe. Western Europe's hard to tell, because like I would say...
They're soft.
I've been to France so many times, and every time I go there, I'm like, it looks like no one has ever done a hard day's labor. They're all real pretty looking.
But the Eastern, you forget about...
But once you go over to Eastern and it starts getting real
Russians,
Ruski. It starts getting real Ruski. Those guys, they've just were born in salt mines.
They don't mess around.
They're not messing around, no.
Right.
Those are some real tough son of bitches. And but I was in Germany for 3 years, and again, sweet social people, but definitely hardworking and very focused mindsets on what their goals are. Like, no one's kind of just frivolously doing things. They all have like this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. This is where I'm going. Nothing changes. Yeah, it's interesting. I miss it there sometimes.
What do you miss about it?
Oh man, the food.
German food?
German
Hamburgers?
food,
Is that what they have?
No,
Hot dogs?
man.
Did they invent that?
They have hamburgers, sure, but
I can't even think of what a German food would be.
have you heard of schnitzel?
Schnitzel.
Yeah, man.
That's a hot dog, right?
No, so like
Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah, Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah, but then there's like Ram Schnitzel, things like. It's basically they just hammer out and flatten like ham, like a ham loaf. They just hammer it out, egg it, bread it, fry it. So it's like this. It's basically like fried pork chops.
Okay.
With like either a mushroom sauce or like what they call the ram sauce, which is like the bone marrow mixed with some like cream. So it's like a cream sauce. Things like that, man. It's just so good. It's salty and delicious. Everything there is like savory. So I love it. I miss that so much.
I got some beverages here. Let me know if you want any. I also got your coffee over here. Let me know if you want that.
Yeah. Well, I'll take the coffee for the moment. I'm good. I'm good with. I might do a little hair of the dog here in a minute, but I'm all right for the moment.
Hair of the dog?
It's having a beer
second.
early in the morning to kill the hangover.
Wait.
Yeah, don't spill it on anything. Good handoff.
Is that what they call it? Hair of the dog?
Hair of the dog, yeah.
Where does that come from?
I don't know, man. That's just an old expression.
Hair of the dog to start the morning.
Yeah, it's something real alcoholics do.
Are you an alcoholic?
No, I am a drinker, but I'm not an alcoholic. It's I would say an alcoholic is one that if you...
Is that a rude question for me to just ask?
No, it's fine. I don't mind. You can ask me anything, man. I'm an open book. I don't mind anything.
Is that a challenge? Should I try to ask you something?
You want to ask some awkward shit? Sure. I don't mind, man.
Let's get weird in here.
I'm all right. Let's get weird on
Little
the lake.
silly out on the lake.
Fuck yeah, man.
You get silly?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian. Of course I get silly.
Silly old time.
I love getting silly.
Do you get offended?
Not easily. It depends on the context.
Yeah.
You know, I can read through, you know, it depends on, like, you know, if there's nuance and things like that. But, I mean, I got asked daily, like when I was in high school, if I was gay. That just got old, but it never offended me.
Are you gay?
No.
Okay.
I find Michael Fassbender a very, very handsome man, but I don't want to fuck him. Like,
who's Michael Fassbender again?
He's the guy who he plays Magneto in the newer X-Men movies. Did you see that? What was it, Prometheus? Like the prequel to Alien and all that? You didn't see those?
No.
He plays the android named David in those.
Oh.
But yeah, he's got a very silvery voice, man.
Yeah. But you know, it doesn't need to be, you know, gay or straight. There's a lot of in between stuff.
It's a spectrum, man. Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's a spectrum.
For sure.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
So.
it's not the You know, it's the sexual component.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care.
Is it anybody's business?
Not really.
Not really. But it is interesting sometimes.
Yeah.
To
I mean, I'm pushing 40, and who knows if I meet the right guy, maybe. But
Yeah.
but I haven't nearly 40
Wow.
years, so I'm all right.
Yeah. Well, do
I
you
find
think
women just beautiful and alluring, so yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, the pandemic has made it like I don't know how people date anymore, or how they meet new people, other than like I met you through comedy.
Yeah.
That's the only way I met new friends. You know, is doing comedy and shit. So
Mhm.
during a pandemic, you and I started basically at the same time.
Right.
I've been doing it a little bit, but you know, on and off. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, during the pandemic is I think where you and I thrived. We were doing shows, or we were doing open mics, almost every night,
For sure.
which is a weird thing to be doing during a pandemic.
But that, that wasn't at the start of the pandemic. That had been, there'd been some bottled up energy that needed to get out for a while. So when we first finally, a year into COVID, got our stuff out there.
Yeah, right when the vaccine rollout that was when I started.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough. I was doing paid shows I got stuck down in Athens, Georgia during the lockdown, because that's where my folks had a place, and they're a little bit older, so I wanted to make sure they were okay. And I honestly had nowhere else to go. I had plans, but then they all got canceled, so I just went and took care of my family. But I was in Athens, Georgia during the lockdown, and I met a few other comedians out there. And Athens famous for having like the 40 watt, which is where like Canane and Patton Oswalt and tons of other comedians had recorded their specials and stuff. They're like their first ones. Where, I think Canane, that was his second that he recorded. So there are comedians in Athens, Georgia. And I met a few of them. Nicole is a great comedian down there. And so we put on the first live show since the lockdown, which was the Abnormal Comedy Show at Normal Bar in Athens, Georgia, and I got to be a part of that. So that was really cool. So it was still alive, and tons of people came out because it was the first time like getting out of the house. There's an actual live show, and Athens is kind of like a little mini Austin, so it's always popping off with music and stuff like that. So
yeah, people were suppressed. They were horned up. They were ready to get out there,
man.
Wet their whistle a little bit, get the hair on the dog or whatever you said.
Yeah.
And
there was a lot of drinking going on for sure.
Yeah, man, it was a cool time because it was like, I mean, it still is coming out, it hits it for, it hits you at different times for people. There's people who still haven't left their house for 2 years, and so maybe their coming out party is going to be next month or who knows.
Yeah, I know my dad. My dad definitely took it extraordinarily seriously. He lives in Charlotte, and I swung by to see him a couple times. I wasn't even allowed in the house. Like we'd stand at like 10 feet apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, things like that.
Weird, man. Weird times.
Weird times, man. What did you do during all that? I know your parents had like the best exit strategy of all time.
Yeah, my parents
Have
are
you
in the
talked about that
Bahamas
yet?
right now on a sailboat.
Yeah, they just fucked off onto a sailboat. Just went to the Bahamas. That was amazing. I wish I could have done that.
Like so many things, it might look to some people like, oh, you got out at the right time. You just, I'm talking about the military.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there's so many things are just coincidences in your circumstance. Like they were planning to do that regard. It wasn't like they're like, COVID, let's go get on a boat.
Yeah.
It just timed up.
It timed up perfectly for them.
Or not. I mean, I'm sure they wish COVID didn't happen and they were out there before.
I don't think anybody wanted this to happen, but we took advantage of the time that we had. Once we got used to like the be at home, stay at home thing, you know, and then now is that like literally you wake up and say, oh shit, I have to go to work, I have to go do things, I have to go pick up. That stopped. Like now it was like wake up, like what do I do? There's nothing to do today. Cool, I'm just gonna hang out.
Yeah.
I was never a video game player. I got into video games then.
Oh yeah, what were you playing?
The horse riding game. What is it? Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. So I got into that one. My buddies over who are still like most of my friends are still military, and they all got into this pirate game called Sea of Thieves. And so I went and I think all the headsets were like back ordered and shit like that. But I finally got one of those headsets so I could play that game with them. And we literally just played this pirate game like every day together because they were in a. I mean, a lot of people don't know, like the military basically stopped for a little bit, like cut in half. I'll say it that way. So some people would stay at home, and then others would come in like small numbers. And then once they got done with those 3 days, they would be locked at their house for like a week or two. So they were doing nothing either.
All because COVID protocol?
All because of COVID protocol, yeah.
Interesting.
So
I'm sure that must have been problematic in a lot of ways.
You know,
I guess
they're pretty good at getting things done.
Right.
And so if necessary, you know, they know what to do.
Right.
But it ran through us. Like, it ran through us before it was a thing. Like, we all got sick in, like, from November to February. At one point in time, we all just got some horrible flu, and a couple of us got hospitalized. I had to go to the hospital. My buddy Greg nearly died.
From COVID?
We're pretty sure it was COVID. It just didn't have a name yet. You know, it was before they had tests for it.
Yeah.
And so,
but isn't it weird thinking back, like at the beginning of COVID, it was like, it felt like a different thing than when you get COVID now. It felt like it was, it hurt people more.
It was definitely, I mean, we got the OG shit, so it was definitely more deadly.
Right. Like, it got weaker as time went on.
It did. Well, you know, as each variant, as it changes, as its genes manipulate. I'm not a doctor, man.
Because I remember one of these first stories where there was this like group of skiers who were in Italy or something. Like, Italy was like the first spot where it was really popping off.
I remember.
And there was a group of skiers, like 9 of them, and like a few of them died. They were all in the hospital and stuff. And it was like, whoa, this like hits people hard. But now my brother got COVID the other day, and I didn't even. Yeah. I was like, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah. I remember saying to somebody, because we were, again, it was some horrible flu. We didn't know how it was going to manifest. We didn't know how bad it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then one thing I had in my head that was just kind of on loop was like, we'll be fine, right? Which, of course, we turned out there's over 1 million dead people now. But so it was a horrible thing. But I remember, like, no wonder it ran through Italy so quick, because those people go to church like 5 times a week. They all hang out together. They all drink from the same cups. Every time they say hi and goodbye, they kiss each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, no wonder it's going to spread through them like wildfire. We're Americans. We don't even like sharing elevators together.
Yeah.
But then I forgot, like, we all like shake hands like crazy. We stand in lines like fucking like dicks to butts, man. Like, everyone, like, that still bothers me. I still wish we had like the protocol, like, that people would respect the 6 feet thing, because I love that. But I was just in line I was at the airport. Just came in from Boston 2 days ago, and it's back to what it used to be, man. Everyone's just like squishing up against each other all the time. So
yeah,
we keep forgetting what that was like, and now it's like, oh shit, yeah, now we're back to it. We're back to just being normal people, just getting in each other's faces. So
yeah, give me some space.
Give me some space, man.
But also, if I know you, I like some not space with people.
I know people, yeah. I mean,
you know.
I'm definitely, I don't do the empty seat between two people at a movie theater. You know what I mean? I want to sit next to somebody.
Oh yeah.
If I'm there with friends, if it's a stranger, stay the fuck away. But if I'm with a friend, I'm like, I'm sitting right next to you.
Yeah, if you're my buddy, I'll sit on your lap. We'll share.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna fuck you during Jackass 4. Calm down.
Yeah.
If I want to hit on you, I'm gonna buy you some drinks first, brother.
Right. Yeah. But people forget that we're animals, you know? Like, if you look at monkeys and other animals, you know, they're picking each other's noses.
Yeah, man.
They're kissing each other on the lips, just as buddies.
If you really want to remember how disgusting we are, watch children, you know? Mm-hmm. Not like a creep. I'm not saying like a creep, Nico. But I'm saying, like, if you're out in public and you see kids. Yeah. They're literally, like, dropping shit in the ground, picking it up, putting it in their mouths, like,
it's fine.
Picking their noses, touching door handles.
Boogers everywhere.
Boogers everywhere, man. They're digging in their dirty buttholes with their fingers. Yeah.
That's what made me the saddest. Was like, you know, kids are the most animalistic, or they're the most like.
They're uninhibited, man.
Right, and they don't know
the freest thing.
Yeah, we learn over time how to become these alien humans that we've created, and like all these social norms that are not natural, that we've just made up.
Sure.
Like even wearing clothes and stuff like that. Like we just made that shit up.
Yeah, I mean it's
not true to our core. Like,
I mean, if we all lived near the equator, I'm sure we'd be naked all the time, but we don't. We live all over the place. Like shit. Last year, man, Texas dropped down to like what, -2 or some shit. Yeah. That if you get to that version of cold, and you're outside, you're now on a timeline.
Right.
You're now like, I'm actively dying. I have to find somewhere to get warm. Yeah. And I lived in Alaska for 3 years, so that was like a normal thing, which was if you drive 20 minutes outside of Anchorage, get out of your car and take 20 steps, you might not come back. Like there's some wild places out there that people live.
But if you see a naked guy outside as your first thought, this is a naked guy, he needs to put those private parts away, or you're gonna freeze, buddy.
For the betterment of society, put those clothes on, brother. Yeah. I don't want to see that.
But yeah, my point was like, kids. I just felt bad for little kids who couldn't.
Oh man, because that's those key development ages where they start figuring out like how to act in society and stuff, and hang out with friends, get that social ability,
and for better or worse, whether you want to say they should have or not, I don't think they should have. But when you see a 3-year-old with a mask at the playground outdoors, like that shit would break my heart. And you still see stuff like that.
I mean, my best friend, who I've known since we were 2 years old, we're the same age. She's a doctor now, so I just followed whatever she said because she was on the forefront of this fucking thing.
Yeah.
She was the one who actually picked me up from the airport when I got out of the military, and she was the only one who hugged me in like a year.
Yeah.
Because she, even though she was nervous of it, she also kind of knew more about it.
Yeah.
And she was also certain that I already had it, so she's like, "You have the antibodies. I'm good with you," And so I'm not gonna shout her out if there's misinformation or anything. I don't want people looking her up, but yeah, I'll just say Dr. Kat is a great friend of mine. I did this really fun thing last year in 2021. Once I got vaccinated, I went from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. I drove.
Really?
And I did it in 7 months. So
What state to what state?
I really took my time. I started in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
That's where she's at. She's in Durham, but I started over there. Her kids and her husband had just gotten COVID, and they just got done with it. So as soon as they were cool, I went and saw her and her family, and she was like looking at my background and all my medical history and said, "Okay, yeah, you should be fine. I don't see a problem with you doing this." I've always wanted to travel the country. I haven't lived in this country in 10 years. So I was like, cool, I'm going to get my car. I'm going to go from the East Coast to the West Coast and actually see it. And once she was cool with me doing that, I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do it. So I went from Raleigh down to Georgia, said goodbye to some family. I drove down here.
Yeah.
I hung out here for a few months. That's where you and I were doing comedy. So I was doing that stuff with you. And then I went from here to Albuquerque to Flagstaff, which is, by the way, I did not know I was missing part of my soul until I got to Flagstaff, Arizona. Flagstaff is a rad place, man.
What's so cool about it?
So on the way there, you're basically just driving through Mars. It's just Martian desert, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really rad looking.
Yeah.
And so you're driving through like red rock desert, and then out of nowhere you see a tree and a rock, and then suddenly a mountain, and suddenly you go down into the valley, and it's like a ski town.
Beautiful. So
it's 110 degrees over here. It's 82, 20 miles into Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, it snows there. It's also an hour away from the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, if you've never been to Flagstaff, if you've never been to
great.
Arizona
is so great.
And you show someone a picture of Flagstaff, they'd be like, "That's not Arizona."
Right? Yeah. They think of like
so
Phoenix.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
They think of that red rock and like they think more of like Utah.
Right.
Which is just
But even
like
Utah,
Zion.
You got
and
variation within
you can
that.
go skiing in Utah. There's plenty of places to do it, man.
Right.
But I was a big skier, snowboarder all my life, and
dude, I was checking out a video of you on YouTube shredding in Alaska.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You shred.
I do. I
was that you doing 180s and grinds and whatever?
Yeah.
Flippy dippy around.
Yeah, there's a
stuff?
reason my left knee sucks now. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up snowboarding?
I grew up skiing. I started skiing when I was probably about 7.
And where were you born?
I was born in San Antonio.
And so you grew up here?
I was here for 2 years. I grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, Raleigh.
My dad got a job in Raleigh, so I grew up there.
So where did you go skiing growing up?
First time, my aunt and my uncle live in Seattle, and they took us down to Oregon the first time to, I think, a place called like White Fang or something like that. Again, I was 7 years old, so this is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I started when I was about 7, and shit, man, yeah. I think the first day, my instructor was like, "Yeah, this kid's ready to go." So he just took me on a bunch of blues. So I got off the bunny hill like after 2 runs, and he started taking me down blues.
Fearless flyer.
Dude, man, I've always been an adrenaline junkie. And,
yeah?
Oh, absolutely. And so every year we do like basically another ski place, but we did, what was it, Heavenly Lake Tahoe, like a year after that. But then for like 6 or 7 years, every year we go to Whistler Blackcomb up in Canada, in BC. So
they got some hardcore runs over there.
Fuck yeah, man. So that's around the time I switched over to snowboarding, which I got really frustrated with because, of course, the first thing you think it's like a skateboard. It's like you lean and you turn. It's not. You have to like move your ankles.
Right.
Right. So that's how you flex the board to turn. And once I figured that out, game on. And then I was just throwing myself down mountains like I was invincible. And I luckily have never been injured.
Really?
But, I mean, in Alaska, okay, this is a real fun part. So anyone thinking about joining the military, here's one reason you'd love to go to the Air Force instead, was the Army has to do physical training like every day, right? So they have to go on these runs, these hikes. They have to run up hills and shit like that and go to the gym and yada, yada, yada. We were told 3 times a week we had to do physical training. And we could either go to the gym or we could go snowboarding.
Really?
Yeah. So that was when you see those videos, we're technically at work.
Dang. And this was in Alaska?
This is in Alaska, yeah. I was stationed at Elmendorf Air Force Base.
Wow.
Which is now Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson because they combined the military bases with the Army and the Air Force. So it's like J-Bear now, so it sounds like a shitty country radio station. J-Bear.
That's so cool. Man, it's so cool that, you know, I'm sure the military, it's tough in a lot of ways, but it's kind of cool that you just get thrown into different places and you see places you never would have went there, but then
I can promise you, I got like people hear about like all the places I went and they get like jealous because some of these guys get stationed at like Cannon, which is up in like just on the border of Texas and New Mexico.
Ew.
And there's nothing there. It's like, what do we do today? I guess we'll go to Sonic, you know. There's fucking nothing there, man. That's the only thing. You can go to Sonic or go talk to Bubba down at the oil change place. That's all you got over there at Cannon.
Yeah, there's some places that are. But even that, you know, it's all perspective, you know? Like if you grew up in, you know, New York City or if you're used to hustle and bustle, like some of those people, you need to get out to the middle of nowhere to experience that.
It can be refreshing. And I can tell you right now, like if I got stuck out in Cannon, I'm like, I'm buying dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Like I'll find a way to make this fun.
Yeah, and those people during COVID, they were like, yeah, we're chilling. We were already
nothing changed for them at all.
Yeah. Maybe we got to wear a mask in the Sonic drive-thru now.
I was always fascinated. Like when I was making that drive, there are stretches of road where it's like 2 hours and there's nothing, and suddenly there's a little tiny house and a family playing in the yard, and then like it's another hour to the next town. And I'm thinking like, what made these people stay out here or come here? It's like, oh, Papa died, we got the land, and they just moved out into the middle of nowhere. I don't even know what they do for a living because there's nothing out there. It's not even like viable farmland. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So it's strange to see, and it's like a happy family. I'm like, good for them, you know. They found it. They found their little piece of paradise. But that's a special mindset. I think you and I are more like big city or beach guys, you know. Like I want to travel to go snowboarding, but I would be totally comfortable living in a single room shitty little house on the beach, right next to a tiki bar. You know, I'm good with that. Like I can. People always say like if you're in Hawaii too long, you get like that island fever. Like it's like I'm trapped. I'm like, dude, I'm fine with Hawaii.
Yeah.
I got drunk enough. This is kind of me being a little bit of an asshole. I didn't mean to be this guy, but I was in Hawaii and I was just blasted on Mai Tais. And I thought Mai Tais were mostly fruit juice.
Yeah.
They are not. They're just completely alcohol.
Yeah.
And I was walking around Waikiki in Oahu, in downtown Honolulu, and there's homeless people there.
Yeah.
There is anywhere.
I mean, if you were homeless, where would you go?
Fucking Hawaii, man.
Hell yeah.
And so I actually did say this to him. I gave him like, $10-20, and I said, "Hey man, if you're gonna be homeless," and like just left it there, and they just looked at me like I was an asshole. And I was like, shit, that was a bad joke. Don't say that to homeless people. Come on, man.
Wait, I think I missed the joke.
I said, if you're gonna be homeless, like at least you're in Hawaii. You know?
Oh, I see.
If you're in Detroit, this $20 is gonna help you out a lot. But you're in Hawaii, you can't even buy a sandwich with $20, man. Sorry for your plight, but it's, Hawaii is just such a cool place. I would say definitely during the pandemic at one point in time, if flights hadn't gotten shut down, I've definitely thought about taking like my savings and just like, I guess I'll just fly out to Hawaii and just live on the beach for a while.
Yeah.
That was definitely a thing in my head, which I never did, but still coming down here to Austin with all you guys was a great idea. I'm happy I got to do that. But after that 7 months, finally getting through, I stayed a couple weeks in Vegas, which was really fun. Mm-hmm. First time ever going to Vegas, so that was cool. Threw $5 on Red 27, made like $50 and walked away. Wow. Paid for the beers that night. And so that was my first time ever experiencing Vegas, was hanging out there for a couple weeks. And also being military, we have Nellis Air Force Base out there, which is a fighter base. So they were doing a thing called Red Flag, which is a giant exercise where all the fighter pilots like come in from like all the locations, and they all just fight each other in the air for fun, And so I was there right when they got there. So it was just like
How do they fight for fun?
They have
Laser
these.
tag?
So basically, if you see the movie Top Gun,
Yeah.
they don't actually shoot at each other. They just lock onto each other.
Oh, and
things like
means
that.
that's
So
a
they
hit.
turn off their IFF, which is their like friendly fire things.
Dang.
So these guys just go up there. It's basically like dudes on motorcycles with laser guns. You know.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So that's all they're doing. They're just up there playing around with each other.
Wow.
And it's fucking rad, man.
bragging rights, talking shit.
No, those guys
That's
get-
the ultimate like
Yeah.
fighting like Call of Duty or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Those
Just
guys
being in a
get to be
plane.
badasses every day. And like the things that happen to you, like when you fly a fighter plane like that,
Yeah.
it's like being in a car accident every day. So those guys get to be, cocky assholes. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, no, you are one of the toughest human beings on the planet. You get to be a badass.
oh,
you
it
know?
jostles you around pretty hard.
Oh man, yeah. So like a car accident's like 3 to 4 G's, right?
Yeah.
They're pulling 9
Wow.
just on those turns. Like they're literally going from, if you weigh 100 pounds and you do a 9G turn, you're now 900 pounds.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And
It
these
can't
guys
be
aren't
good
100 pounds. These guys are like, 200, 185, things like that.
It can't be good for your body, right?
It slowly tears you up.
yeah. I
but-
mean, it's gotta shake up your organs.
Oh,
or
but they're wearing special suits, these
Yeah.
compression suits, what they're called G suits, that squeeze all that stuff in, keep your blood in your brain, stuff like that.
Damn.
Because your blood's trying to hit your feet when you're doing those turns.
Whoa.
And so it's squeezing everything up, and they're doing you see them if you ever watch the videos of them. They're
Yeah.
clenching their necks and like I'm trying not to fucking die. Like that's what they're doing the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time, the entire time they're up there.
Yeah.
That's hours of them just doing that. So they get to be they get to be dicks. Fine, I'm good with you being a dickhead, man. You're
still
fucking rad.
Still be nice, man. I don't care how rad
Well,
you
sure,
are.
sure.
Still be nice.
I'm just saying, if one of those guys has a bad day, it's like every day for them is a car accident. Like, I'm good with you if
Oh,
you have
I get it. Yeah.
So I'm always nice and polite and kind to to pretty much everybody. I treat everyone the same.
Plus, they die a lot, right? Like in training and stuff.
Not really. I mean,
Oh.
you'd probably hear about it more. I mean, they face a lot more danger, sure. I mean, I have friends who are fighter pilots and C-130 pilots and things like that. So my buddy Matt was having a bad day when I was having dinner with him. He's a C-130 pilot, right? And I just saw the look in his eye, like he was just tired. I'm like, "What's
Yeah.
wrong, Matt?" And he's like, "I just wish every time I didn't fly over Iraq, I hate getting lased, man. They laze me like all day." And I was like, "What?"
What's that mean?
They're shining like targeting lasers on his plane. So he's like firing off flares to not get hit by missiles. And he's like, "I'm just trying to get home. I'm just trying to have dinner with my daughters. I'm just dropping off medical supplies, man." Like he's just like, "I'm so over it." But yeah, it's it's a stressful job, man.
Dang.
It's a constant fear of death,
Yeah, that's
Because
crazy.
it's not like an airline pilot where all we have to do is take off and land. It's like, no, we have to take off, avoid getting shot down, and then land again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a different lifestyle. That's why a lot of those guys get out and they go fly for like Delta,
Right.
and they're just like, "I'm cool with this. I don't mind being a bus driver. I'm cool with it."
Yeah, I can't imagine thinking about dying like having that threat, but people have that, I guess, where it's like a possibility.
In the uniform, you're just always being hunted. Just think of it that way. So even when we're not flying or we're not in the air and doing that kind of stuff, if you're on the ground over in Europe and you have this haircut, you're actively being hunted. Like, people don't like us very much.
Yeah, some people don't like American soldiers.
Yeah.
Or just they're on the other team.
Sure, but they also disagree with some of the things that we've done, or not necessarily we've done, but what our politicians have done, things like that. So
Yeah.
they want to take it out on us, even though I don't even know who you're talking about, man. It's that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
they're probably more informed on American politics than we are. Like, they
Right.
pay closer attention to it. I think
Well-
we're just so saturated by it that we stop giving a shit.
I mean, wasn't that the case for like some of these Russian soldiers that are out there right now? Like
Oh,
they're not
100%.
even like they're like, I don't know what we're doing, but
They're just following orders, man.
Yeah.
And they don't even know where it's coming from, because there's no centralized like intelligence that they're getting it from. They're just being told go that direction. They get there and like, why are we here?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And you see that in a lot of the guys who were captured. They're like, wait, I don't even know why we came here. Like, y'all are our brothers. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I feel real bad for them. And I got a lot of phone calls and messages from friends who didn't know I was out, asking if I was still over in Europe, because they're like, "Oh man, it's so scary over there right now. Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm in Austin doing comedy, man. I'm doing fine." But yeah,
It is still scary doing
it's
comedy
still,
in Austin.
It's still scary doing comedy in Austin. Yeah. Rogan came here and brought the bros.
different kind of scary.
Yeah.
Bombing on stage.
Bombing on stage,
kind
man.
of bombs.
That was one, like, when people ask me about that, that's the first question they ask me. "You're a bomb man?" I was like, "Yeah, all the fucking time." It's part of the process. That's how you figure out how to make the joke better.
No, I've actually never bombed, but I've heard it's not fun.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
I like to.
One of my favorite things I saw you do, and this made me laugh so fucking hard. You probably got a bigger laugh from all the comedians in the room. Was you did one of your bits, and you got through it, and we'd all heard it before, so like no one laughed. But then you just said, "I think I'm getting worse at comedy, guys," and like everybody just laughed their asses off. It's like, no, you're not. You're getting better. The timing was better, the rhythm, the pattern, and the cadence was better. But we'd all heard it so much that we're all like the golf clap.
Yeah.
You know, which is the worst noise to hear after a joke is the golf clap. Because
But-
you're not looking for claps, man. But at the
No.
time, I think we were doing Romo Room, and so it was like 30 comedians and no audience.
Yeah.
Everyone's just waiting their turn. And but yeah, when you leaned into the mic and said, "I think I'm getting worse at comedy, you guys," it just tickled me. Because we weren't. We were all getting better. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
it was the process.
It's a weird thing to do.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
I love watching that work. And watching Ciurczak, he did one of my favorite things with it was the Sunday night Sunday night what was it, like the church service comedy that Corey Wolf, and he did something that I'd never seen before. He actually like got the stool over there, got on his knees, and it was like, "Forgive me, Corey, for I've sinned." And he did his bits in between. "Forgive me, Corey, for I've sinned." Bit punchline. "Forgive me, Corey, for I've sinned."
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes, what? Thank you.
It's the best platform, right? So yeah, we got beers. Yeah, it's the way to go, huh?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Cheers. Oh shit.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. It's called the Canoecast if you want to check it out.
Canoecast, yeah,
Hey.
yeah. Right on.
For sure.
Cool.
Thanks, you too.
This is why I love Austin, man.
Yeah, dude.
The fact that people love this is even
Yeah,
better. This
dude.
is such a great platform, dude. You really came up with a very ingenious way of doing this.
Thank you. Sometimes I don't feel like I could. No, it's going in for sure.
Yeah. He's part of it.
He's in it.
This is definitely a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
And like everyone has one, but this is such a unique platform for it, you know.
That's what I was getting at. Sometimes it feels hacky or seems gimmicky or something like that.
I don't think so. I mean, look at, you just got a bunch of people going like, "That's fucking rad, man. Hell yeah."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's a great idea.
Thanks, man.
I think I actually messaged you when I was in Seattle, and I was like, "Yo, I see you're doing it on a canoe. It's fucking awesome."
Hell yeah. I've had some hiccups along the way, and it's hard to get consistent, but now I'm trying to put one out every week and not miss days. So,
Yeah, you've had some really good guests on, man.
thank you. That's what it's all about. I mean, I just love talking to people, hearing their stories, and
I saw you had Guy. I saw you had like Hans Kim and all those guys. So
yeah, funny ass people who are way funnier than me that I can come and showcase and try to promote to my huge platform.
sure.
Blow them up, change
Absolutely.
their lives, give them.
Hey, Australia, what's up?
What's
Yeah.
up? What's up?
I love that. Yeah, because you and I had lunch yesterday, and that was something
Yeah.
that kind of was surprising that you had people hit you up from Australia.
Yeah,
It's like-
dude, I should shout that guy out. I forget
Yeah.
what his,
Because
piss
like
that
they don't have a lot of comedy down there, so they found you on like Kill Tony when you did Kill Tony, and you've done that a few times, haven't you?
just once.
Okay. I know Ciurczak did just
Jacob
once as
Frankovich. Jacob
Jacob
I don't know if I'm saying that right. Frankovich. Yeah, this guy Jacob, and I feel weird for even bringing it up now, but like he, it was crazy to me that somebody reached out from Australia.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Got listeners all over, man.
yeah, that's what I mean.
You're about to get a lot more international because I'm going to send this to a few of my friends, and they're all overseas,
fuck yeah.
dude.
Cool.
So
I mean, even if one person listens to this, it means so much, and it feels surreal and crazy, and it means so much. Especially like a stranger, somebody who has no stake in it, or like it's not a family member who feels sorry for me or something like that. But like like the fact that I could film something, and some random person could watch, like
Yeah.
it kind of blows my mind.
Well, I mean, we're in the hotbed of comedy now. I mean, this has become the spot, right? And so seeing, and you're gonna get a lot of great comedians on here. Shit, man, bring Corey Wolf on. She cracks me up.
Mm-hmm.
But just
I'd love to have her on.
having all these great comics that are here, like up and comers and stuff like that, is so cool that you get to promote them in that way. Because I mean, I'm sure all of them have their own podcasts and stuff, but this is such a different.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many comedians don't have a podcast.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
which is crazy to me. I think that was a mermaid, or I don't know what's going on right there.
The most fuckable fish.
Or not, because like your joke that we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
You can't really.
It's like, yeah, that's the reason dudes like tits better than pussy is fucking mermaids, man. It's the dumbest premise, but it's funny to me. I can't get this thing pregnant, but I can get a beach. All right.
Hell yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're good. I'm just thinking about my grandma watching. She's going to tune in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Grandma.
No, it's okay. She likes that kind of stuff.
All right. I actually watched Jackass 4 with my mom last night, forgetting how much wiener was in that. And I was like, sorry, Mom. She was laughing her ass off, so it's all right. Yeah. She has that silly sense of humor, too.
It's easier to laugh at somebody else other than
if
it was
me,
your wiener.
Yeah, if it was my wiener. I wouldn't want the bee beard like Steve-O did.
Yeah. Yeah, like, can Steve-O watch it with his mom? Can he watch Jackass with his mom?
I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, I think he would.
Yeah.
It's Steve-O.
At this point, once you've made money off of it and it's like a thing, it's a little easier than when you're starting out, you know?
Sure.
And it hasn't become a thing. That's where you got to get over that hump where people take you seriously, and then you can be like, yeah, fuck you, I make money off this, so whatever.
I've definitely.
But when you're not, when you're grinding up, getting your wiener out there with no money, that's tough.
My dad wanted to see some of my shows, and I basically told him like, well, I'll just give you a premise.
Yeah.
And I told him the premise, and he said, yeah, I'm not coming to your show. I'm like, good.
Dang.
Because it's a performance. It's not really me.
What was the premise? Mermaids?
It was that he never taught me about sex. My mom did.
Yeah.
Which means I know about as much as sex as my mom does. And he was just like, never mind. I'm not coming. I was like, yeah, you never taught me about it, Dad. So I have to go off that.
Oh, did he take it personally?
Once he thought that it was going to be all about him, which it wasn't, it was really like my dad. Think of my dad as
he can't take a joke about himself.
He can, but
he would have been Will Smith at the Oscars.
He's straight up New Jersey Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah,
that's who he is. I've said that in one of my bits. I was like, yeah, my mom's like 5'4", she's a little bitty lady, and then my dad's like 6'1", Bruce Willis looking dude. Mm-hmm. How did I end up with an alcoholic Ryan Seacrest look? You know, I did something like that. And
Seacrest out.
Yeah, and that bit killed in Atlanta. I loved Atlanta. I love doing shows in Atlanta because it's mostly black crowds or African American crowds, and for some reason they seem to really enjoy me. Like I guess because I'm picking fun at myself a lot or something. So, but Atlanta's a good time if you ever get out there. Definitely. I think the place I played actually shut down, unfortunately, which was a Relapse Theater. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. Dave Stone, who does the podcast with Kyle Kinane.
Yeah.
Have you heard that, The Boogie Monster?
No, I've been meaning to check it out. Maybe it was you who tried to tell me to check it out.
Maybe.
Somebody else.
But Dave, during the pandemic, not even before the pandemic, Dave set me up with some spots in Atlanta through Joe down there who books everything. And so I got to do some great shows in Atlanta when I was still in the military.
Yeah.
And when I got out and the world shut down, I kept in contact with Dave Stone, and we were like trading recipes and shit, and just super sweet guy. So thanks, Dave, for everything you did.
What kind of recipes?
Oh, dips, things like that. Like
Hell yeah.
That was one of the things I did during the pandemic was I learned how to cook better.
You make a mean bean dip?
I make a really good clam dip.
Clam dip?
Clam dip, man, yeah. It's one of those things that you don't think would sound good until you have it, and then that's all you focus on. Like, as soon as I bring that to a table, people are like, that's kind of weird, and then they eat it, and then they just stay there.
Yeah.
They hang out around the clam dip, dude. But yeah, did a lot of grilled shrimp, did a lot of ribs, things like that. So yeah, it was good stuff.
And what do you dip the shrimp in the clam dip?
No.
No.
I don't mix my fish, man.
Oh no.
But no, just doing some garlic grilled shrimp, shit like that. You know.
Oh yeah.
Just it was an excuse to stay at home and figure out how to cook better.
Yeah.
But also being like unemployed for 2 years, you know, you got a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah.
Might as well do something with it.
It's probably weird once you get out of the military to go from like everything planned out to like now you got. I mean, you hadn't had freedom for 10 years.
Not anywhere close to what would be considered freedom, and suddenly I was like.
Yeah, I don't want to say not freedom, but.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
No, I absolutely know what you mean. It even when you're in, you have to unless you're on leave, you still have to be kind of on call.
Yeah.
And my job in the military was kind of a lot of on-call. So I was always expecting phone calls at 3 a.m., things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a gear bag at my door that had a vest and a helmet in it. Like, I was ready to roll. Like, that's what it had to be. So I could only be, like, I think it's like if they give you a call, you have like 30 minutes to be in uniform at work.
Yeah.
So you can't even live too far away.
It's like being, yeah.
So I was always kind of like, it's like being I don't want to say like being a doctor. That's not the right word. But, you know, if someone needs surgery immediately, you got to have somebody on call, you know?
Right.
And luckily we had a lot of really, really skilled guys doing the same job, so they were taking care of it. But yeah, there's been times that I get phone calls. I'll tell you this. I've gotten phone calls outside of the military since I've been out asking like, hey, man, have you seen this kind of thing before? And I was like, yeah. And I could kind of tell them where to look, you know? So that's
So they still come back and you do a little bit of consulting?
A little. I've had friends of mine who are in pretty high up positions ask me like, hey, for like a personnel report, like when they're writing basically like report cards.
Yeah.
They'll ask me like, hey, does this look good? Does this look right?
Yeah.
Because I was really good at writing that kind of stuff, and I'd kind of give them some advice.
Do you like talking about the military, or is it weird to?
It doesn't bother me.
Really?
I mean, there's days I miss it. There's days I'm super happy I'm not in anymore. I'll tell you this, I still have base access, and I still go down to San Antonio where we do our basic training.
Yeah.
Just to go see the new kids get yelled at.
Oh, really?
I love it. Yeah. And I get to walk around there. I get to walk around there with a beard, you know, and
the hazing always comes around. Like people, you when you're going through it, you're like, or not hazing or the hard shit. You're like, oh, what, you know, when I get to the top, I'm not treating these people like that. But then you get to the higher level and you forget, and you're like, it's their turn. Or maybe you see the good in it. I don't know what it is.
So basic training, the reason they do all the yelling and stuff like that is to simulate battle stress, man. It's to get you stressed out so you know how to handle stress.
Yeah, I guess it's important in the military.
It is important because, I mean, if you can't handle that kind of shit, you're not going to handle war very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's your job is now war.
Right.
So be aware of it. You might not ever go. I'll be honest with you. Like I've been technically deployed, but I've never had to go to Afghanistan or Iraq. Like, so there was always the possibility, but I never had to do it. So I never had boots on the ground in those kind of places. So I got lucky in my, like, all right, my locations was Alaska, Tokyo, Japan, and Ramstein, Germany, right near Frankfurt. So I was 2 hours by train from Paris in Germany. I was 5 hours by car to Amsterdam. And I was living in Tokyo, which is just fucking rad, you know. Not to mention the food is amazing. Oh, God, man, Tokyo is such a great place. But it is a different planet.
Really?
It's a different planet. And a lot of people speak English there, so it's not that hard to navigate.
Yeah.
And even the trains will say it in Japanese and then say it in English. Like that's how many, you know, English-speaking residents there are in Tokyo. So once you get outside of there, like Kyoto and things like that, then it's all Japanese.
Yeah.
But Tokyo is such an international place,
right,
that it's not a problem.
Of the places you lived and stuff, could you see yourself residing in any of those countries? Or do you think
I would love to visit Tokyo again.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to step foot on Ramstein Air Base ever again.
Yeah.
But I do miss my little village right outside of there, which is called Mockenbach. Mockenbach, man. Actually, here in Central Texas, we still have places. The streets are named Strasse, which is the German word for street.
How'd that come about?
A lot of German people moved here.
Oh, right.
Like in the 1800s, yeah.
Interesting.
So Mockenbach is renowned in Europe as being the musicians' city. That's where all these musicians live.
Is Luckenbach German?
It sounds German to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mockenbach had a bunch of German people move here to Central Texas, and that's why we have like New Braunfels and you know, that kind of place. So all that area is all very Bavarian, very, very German. And my mom and my grandmother used to make they would just say pork chops, but they were making schnitzel. It was German food.
Yeah.
And then that's why we have like Scheinerbach, you know, Ziegenbach. These are all German words.
Take a bite. You ever take a bite into a pork chop and be like, is this a schnitzel? Is somebody tricking me?
That's basically all it is. Yeah, pork chops are basically kind of like it's like a breaded pork chop.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way Texas does like chicken fried steak, you know?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I would love to visit. I could see myself living in Europe eventually, but again, like you, I'm so much more of a beach bum. And I'd rather be in like a tropical climate or like somewhere like this.
Yeah.
Because the Rhine River over where I was at is not. I mean, you can go out, but it's not like this.
No.
It's a lot of like commercial freighters and stuff like that. So it's not fun to go out kayaking, you know?
Dude, I think Austin, for the amount of people that are here, is like the most people trying to get out and do stuff of any place that I've been per capita.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Very
like,
freeing, yeah.
Even though the population is much smaller than LA, there's way more people for the amount of population here that are actively going out and trying to meet people or get out on the river, or that are going to bars on a Tuesday. Like, people like to do stuff.
It's a social city.
Very social.
And it's one of those kind of places, this is what I miss about it, like during the pandemic. What I missed was going out to like dive bars and meeting new people.
Yeah.
Because everyone has stories, man. Everyone has like stories, and everyone has like cool lives somewhere, you know, at some point in time. And they love sharing that kind of stuff, especially with new people.
What's your best story?
Oh, God.
That put you on the spot.
Aside from being choked by a Nazi in Germany.
That's not real.
That's a real story. I told that on
Well,
stage.
all right, we got to get into that one.
Okay. It's not my best, but it's definitely a real one.
Oh, okay.
There was a...
We'll do this one, then we'll do your best one.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to share anything you don't
No,
want,
no,
by the way.
I'm happy to, Nico, man. I'm happy. I'm here, man. I'm here.
I'm here, too.
So I've told it on stage, but the basic background of what happened was I went to a bar in Landstuhl, Germany, and called Area 51. Shout out to all my guys over there at Rammstein who know where that is. It's right next to all the strip clubs.
That's so funny to think about, like, Americans going and making American references over in a... Like, they, you know, like, you think about the places we have here, like Chinatown and whatnot, and then they got America Town over there.
Actually, so the area around, it's called Kaiserslautern, which is the city that we're closest to. That whole area has the largest concentration of Americans outside of America in the world.
Interesting.
So it's mostly Americans. You see a lot of Ford Mustangs.
Dang.
In Germany, you know. So
it must be cool to have that when you're there. Like, you can venture
on the Autobahn.
Out. What?
Like driving Mustangs on the Autobahn, where you can just open it up.
Right. No, but just like the home feeling, I guess. A bunch of people from the same place you are.
Oh, absolutely. And there's tons. I mean, shitloads of our guys are from Texas.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird, like, seeing one of my good friends, I think it was Massey, has this giant water bottle and has a Buc-ee's sticker on it. And it's funny seeing that in a foreign country.
And it creates so much more connection, in a foreign country than you know, you see someone with a Buc-ee's.
I had two guys on my flight, so the guys I worked directly with.
Yeah.
One was from Kemp, and one was from Gun Barrel City. And I was in Athens, Texas for high school, which is 15 minutes from both of those places. And I was just like, we were all, you know, at the time, I guess I was like 33.
Yeah.
One was like 43. The other one was 23. So we all missed each other,
right.
But we all know the same things.
Yeah.
We all know, because those areas never change, right?
Yeah.
The Applebee's is there forever.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's all you got. You got an Applebee's and a Walmart.
But it's so interesting to me how you can have that connection once you go somewhere else, and you're like, but once you're in the same spot, then it's like, oh, you're just the asshole who cut me off, and even though we went to the same high school. And
right.
Like, you don't feel that when you're surrounded. I guess you just have so much of it. You don't have time to connect with everyone like that, or you don't miss it.
Yeah, to a level. Anyway, so I got choked by a Nazi, and so what happened was this guy who was wearing the jacket, right? He had all the shit on it. I wasn't paying attention to all the patches, but he had like the SS crap. And this is a real thing, but you'll see at a lot of these bars, it'll literally have stickers on the doors that say "No Nazis." Like, that's still a real thing over there.
Really?
I didn't know how big it was. Like, it was like an actual thing. But they have like their own area of the stadium to go watch soccer or football, you know?
No.
Yeah, they have their own little area they stick to. And they all wear the same shit. They wear the vests with all the patches and shit like that. So there was this guy picking on an American, right? And so I kind of went over there just to de-escalate, because I spoke enough German to kind of try to get in the way of it, you know? And as soon as I kind of broke it up, he just turned his focus on me. And then he just like, "Are you American?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm American." And he just went right for my throat. And he just grabbed me by the throat. And right when he did, this giant black Russian dude just lifted the guy up and threw him out the door. And I'm pretty sure, like, it's like, okay, hang on. American, Nazi, and a Russian. I'm like, something's up here, man. You know, it was like, there's some history here somewhere. And, but yeah, I did that joke before. I've done the whole thing. But that's the premise of it. But yes, I did. I got choked by a Nazi in Germany. But if you want the best, I got chased by a grizzly bear in Alaska. That's one of
Really?
my best stories. Yeah. I got chased by a grizzly bear in Alaska.
What's scarier, a grizzly bear or a Nazi?
A grizzly bear.
Yeah.
I have dreams about grizzly bears still. I don't have dreams about Nazis. So.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not Indiana Jones, man. So, I don't have to deal with them all the time.
Yeah. I don't think they have a bear in Texas. Maybe in somebody's backyard.
I'm sure we have black bear. You know.
Oh, they do?
I'm sure somewhere out there. But
Yeah.
grizzly bears in Alaska are no fucking joke.
Really?
Because I'd never seen one in the wild before, right?
Yeah.
And when I say the wild, we were in areas of Alaska that probably no man has ever set foot.
That's
so
crazy.
part of my job, which I know we didn't even go into what I did, but part of my job was crash recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And so if an airplane crashes, we go respond to it, and we go get the airplane and the pilot and all that kind of stuff, right? And so we
Heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff. And the worst part about airplane crashes is they don't exactly crash in convenient locations. And so this was an F-22 that crashed in 2010, and it crashed out in the middle of nowhere.
Planet Hoth.
So, and luckily, it crashed in a location where it kind of, when it hit the ground, it was just in kind of about 3 square mile radius instead of if it hit the top of a mountain and spread over like 50 square miles, it would have been real bad.
Yeah.
But luckily, it hit at the base of a mountain and sprayed all over this valley, and so we were able to do that pretty easily. But we got out there.
So you're the first one to show up to the crash?
No. As soon as it happened, I was in training at the time when it happened.
But I mean, just in general, like, is that your job to be the first responder? Or
Kind of.
kinda?
In other scenarios, yes,
Yeah.
we would have been some of the first ones to be there. Yeah. Usually we send our rescue squadrons, which is what's called the PJs, and those guys helicopter out there immediately, and those guys are heavy hitters. They do training for about 3.5 years before they're actually implemented into active duty. So those guys are hardcore cool, right? Those are the guys that you
PJs.
see. You see those guys. Those guys jumping out of planes at like real low altitudes and popping chutes real low. Like they're the ones who come in the middle of the night. You never knew they were there. Those guys are real rad, right? And so we worked with PJs to go do that kind of stuff. I have a few of their patches actually. So really cool guys. So they went and did their due diligence and figured that it was in a bad location. It was the wrong time of year. By the time they got there, everything was frozen over. It was the middle of the winter, or beginning of the winter. And so we went up in May when everything started thawing, right? And what also happens at the end of May is all the bears start waking up. And we're so out there in the middle of nowhere. Like, we're helicoptering in and out, right, every day because there's no roads to get out there.
Yeah.
The cool part about that is there's also no power lines or anything else. So our helicopter pilots could put us like 10 feet off the ground in between, like in a creek bed, flying around like fucking Death Star style,
Like a drone.
Oh, man, so rad. So we were pulling like G's, doing turns and having fun, and really, really cool stuff. But the first day we got there, the guy who ran the place, actually, I can give a shout out, right? Alpine Creek Lodge out there in Cantwell, Texas, middle of nowhere. So it's a hunting lodge, right?
Shout out.
So they
What
set
are we
us up
hunting
there.
out there?
They hunt bear. It's bear and fishing. It's all that kind of shit. Antelope, whatever you have a tag for, because you have to get like
This is
hunting
in
tags.
Alaska.
This is Alaska, yeah.
Wait, what'd you say Texas for? Oh, did you say Texas?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But Cantwell, is it Cantwell? Yeah, Cantwell, Alaska. Maybe I did say
okay.
Texas. Oops.
Oh, okay. No, you're
Cantwell,
good, you're
Alaska,
good.
out there, middle of nowhere. So you can like see Denali, like right over there. It's like right past the national park and all that stuff.
Wait, what's the place called?
Alpine Creek Lodge, is that what you want?
Yeah,
The
Alpine
lodge
Creek
itself.
Lodge.
Yeah, so you can look that up on Google. It's out in the middle of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool place. Like, it's all like stovetop heating. Like, you got to have a fire going if you want heat at all inside. And so Claude, the guy who ran the place, took us out on our first day. He said, "Hey man, y'all want to go fishing?" We're like, "Sure." Because our first day, we didn't have to go do this mission until the next day.
Yeah.
And because we had just got there, we're all exhausted. It's like a 9-hour drive. And he took us out. We went fishing, caught some grayling, threw them back, and then we started going up these trails, and we started seeing bear prints. And we're like, "Oh, cool, maybe we'll see a bear," but we're thinking we'll see a bear like way out there,
Yeah.
And so, like dipshits, we got out of the. We had these really cool like ATVs that seat like 6 people. And they go like 70 miles per hour. So they're really, really, really cool things. We get out and start following these bear prints up a ridge.
Doesn't Claude know better than to track down a bear?
You would think, but Claude's hanging back with the ATVs,
Oh.
and we're 150 yards ahead of him.
He's just sending
Go.
newbies out there?
Yeah,
Claude, what are you doing?
come on, Claude.
I mean, does he get off on...
By the way, he was the only one with a rifle. Like,
Yeah.
none of us had weapons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he had a rifle, so good on him. Anyway, so
you don't carry a gun around all the time
no.
out in Alaska?
No, but you do when you're out camping, sure.
Yeah.
But at that time, I mean, we were all pretty fresh to it, so we weren't.
You were staying at the lodge. You thought
We were staying at the lodge. We're protected. There's no reason.
Yeah.
It's also really early.
Yeah.
You know, they're not waking up yet. I don't think they're definitely awake and they're fucking hungry, man.
Also, is there a lot of trees around in this spot, or is it just like white, like
it's
desert kind of?
It's some, but it's more like bushes. It's not really trees.
Yeah. So you feel like maybe you could see a bear coming, or?
Oh yeah, you can see for miles. I mean, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
But we're up this hunting trail, right? Me, my buddy Tim, and Garrett get to the top of this trail. And Tim, who's like a Colorado boy, right? So he's used to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Tim never loses his cool, and I just hear Tim under his breath go, "Oh shit!" And then he takes off running.
Mm.
And then so does Garrett. And Garrett's like 220, 6'5", big dude, and he takes off running. And then there's me. And
Did they say they saw a bear, or
they didn't? They just took off running.
Oh wow!
And I was just standing there like a dipshit, and I looked up because we're looking down at bear prints, and they took off running. And by the time I looked up, 100 yards from me, maybe, was just what looked like a fuzzy minivan just coming right at me.
Whoa.
And my brain didn't register what it was until I saw like the lower lip and the teeth.
Ooh!
And the lower lip's like flapping like a freaking pancake.
He looked hungry?
Starving, yeah. And probably had cubs with her, so she was like, oh, yeah.
Aren't you supposed to not turn your back from a bear?
Yeah, we did exactly the wrong thing.
Yeah, you guys didn't read
Because
the manual.
here's the thing. When you run from a bear like that, it's like, ooh, food, and it wants to play.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a big dumb puppy, but now it's like I want to play with it and then eat it.
That's like, yeah. The worst thing a squirrel or a rabbit could do is try to run from the dog. You gotta back up slowly.
Because then its little its little brain kicks on, like
Tennis
chase
ball.
it, get it, yeah, go get it. And so that's what we were. We were just tennis balls to this bear, like made out of
Hell
meat.
yeah.
And so we start running. I'm running and I'm just yelling bear the whole time. So I'm running as fast as I can. Bear, bear, bear.
To who?
To Claude. Claude's the one with the rifle.
Oh.
And Claude, of course, hears it. And so what I'm looking at basically is I'm hearing paws hitting the ground behind me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Claude, and he's pointing a rifle straight at me. So either he's going to hit me or the bear. So I'm waiting for a snap and a hiss, or I'm just going to drop, right? Because it's like a 375 Ultra Mag fucking elephant gun. This thing's going to kill whatever it hits, right?
Wow.
So he scoped up on me. So I'm running directly at him. I'm running towards the guy with the gun.
But he's got the van or the car, or what is
Yeah,
he?
he has all the ATVs. And by the time some of the other guys who were still kind of back there with the ATVs, some of them like fired up the ATVs, and I think it scared her. So she hits the brakes. The bear behind me hits the brakes and just slides. And I feel all the gravel and dirt and mud just slide up and hit me in the back of my legs. So I'm waiting
so this thing was like right on
It was
your
right
ass?
on me, yeah. And so I was waiting for a swipe to knock me down.
Did you think you were going to die?
I was literally like closing my eyes, like bracing for it. I was like, here it comes. And
whoa.
yeah, man. And then luckily she I guess she heard the ATVs or something, and she just stopped and took off into the brush.
Damn.
Right. So I get back. It's only a couple more meters, and I
shit
finally
your
get back.
pants?
No, I didn't. But I was definitely shaking
Yeah.
because I'd never seen anything like it, so I didn't know what to expect. And when I finally got
Monster.
back there, yeah, it was a monster. I got chased by a monster.
It's like yeah.
It was the size of a fucking minivan, bro. It's huge, right?
Yeah.
And I think I remember like in like panic breaths, I'm like, we gotta fucking go. I don't want my parents getting a folded flag and a box full of bear shit, dude. Like, it's like this is the worst way to go. Like, didn't die in war. You got eaten by a goddamn bear fucking off in the woods in Alaska.
Yeah.
And I'm panicked. I'm like, I just want to go back to the lodge. My day's done. And then Claude just jovially just goes, who's got a bear tag? And like 5 of my guys are hunters, and they're just like, I do. And they're like, let's go get her. And I was like, oh my God. Like, so now they want to go hunt the thing. And luckily they didn't. We all went back and we had dinner. But
well,
yeah.
it's somebody's mom, so
Sure. No, I'm not. I've never gone hunting. I'm not a hunter. I don't need to.
Really?
I have no want, need, or desire to kill an animal. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not part of my DNA.
Yeah. I don't want to kill any animals either. But I do think since I eat meat, maybe I should know what it's like to kill an animal.
That's one of Canane's bits. Is like I don't think I should eat meat unless I know how to kill the animal.
Right.
Like it's respecting the process.
Yeah.
The life and death. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with it to a certain level, but I mean,
It's also more humane than, a chicken in a little box that becomes a chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. My brother-in-law and my sister who live here, they have like a 350-pound pig named Napoleon,
And they're gonna eat them one day?
No.
Oh.
It's their pet.
Oh yeah.
And Napoleon's a sweet boy. You know,
Yeah.
he makes little happy grunts when you scratch him. So he's a sweet pig. But then, of course, as we're like petting him, we're like barbecuing pork shoulder. You know.
Yeah.
So it's a little we're hypocritical, sure. Everyone's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely different if you have to actually kill and pluck a chicken and, you know, gut it and cook it yourself.
Yeah.
And that could have just been an animal with a name that could have been your little pet. But if you ever own chickens, those things are shit animals, man. I have no problem eating chicken. My uncle who lives near here, they have tons of chickens. Tons.
Dude, that's crazy though. I mean, a grizzly bear chasing you?
Yeah, man. I survived a grizzly bear chasing me.
I can't imagine.
No, it's hard to describe it. I've gotten good at it, but if I have dreams about them,
Yeah.
I wake myself up. I'm able to wake myself up if I have dreams about bear, because I know it's going to attack me in my dream. Even if it's way over there, I just know as soon as I see a bear in my dream, it's eventually going to attack me.
Yeah.
So that being said, I have not seen the movie The Revenant for a reason,
Oh yeah.
because I've seen little bits and pieces of that part with Leonardo DiCaprio getting attacked by a grizzly bear, and it's a nightmare to me.
That's PTSD, baby.
Yeah, man. It's just trying to imagine being attacked by an animal to that ferocity, because those things, it's not like they hit you and you're done. You know,
Yeah.
they hit you and they chew on you for a while you're screaming.
Yeah.
I would much rather get hit by a shark. You know what I mean? That seems like almost any shark attack survivor tells you, it's like, I was just swimming and suddenly my leg wasn't there. I'm like, that's a pretty pleasant way to lose a leg, man.
Yeah, adrenaline.
I didn't even feel it, man.
I feel like adrenaline can just kind of take care of a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I mean, in terms of pain.
And I'm an adrenaline junkie, so in a way, kind of glad it happened. I got to experience that, but I'm super glad that I didn't get eaten by a bear. I'll say it that way. But you know, jumping out of airplanes and things like that, you can just get that high instead, man.
Yeah.
Don't go to Alaska chased by a grizzly bear. It's not as much fun as it sounds. Let me see if I can get my wallet. Yeah, because now we're tipping around when we're reaching for wallets. I think I still have it with me, actually. Yeah, I sure do. There you go. My Alaska
license?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
I look a lot younger.
It looks fake.
It does, doesn't it?
It looks like a student ID.
It does look like a student ID.
They haven't figured out how to make them look a little more official in Alaska yet.
I'm sure they look exactly the same. One of my closest friends who was up there who wasn't military, he would just go snowboarding with us all the time. My buddy David, who I mentioned yesterday.
Yeah.
He's a Alaska native, and he just finished his pilot training, and now he's a pilot. But he's doing instructor piloting right now over here in Austin.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it yesterday, but I'm still waiting to hear back from him. But I know we'll get it done. But yeah, we're definitely gonna do the Canoecast again with you, me, and Shootsy. But we're gonna go up in a fucking airplane, bro.
Hell yeah, dude! You're
So
putting
we're
it out there, so it's gotta happen.
It's gonna
now.
happen, man.
Dude.
Yeah, because he has free days, and you know, because he's a pilot, he can just go rent the plane.
Yeah.
And so we can all go up.
And you've flown airplanes and stuff.
I have,
You're in
yeah.
the process of. Man,
I did.
That's so cool.
I started flying Cessna 172s in Tokyo. So really great place to learn, by the way, because a lot of people wouldn't think this, but Japan has an obsession with golf. And when you're flying in a Cessna, the first thing that you do when you take off is you look for like emergency landing spots, and golf courses are perfect. And so that whole country is just peppered with golf courses. So when you're starting out flying for the first time, and you take off and all you see is like golf courses and Tokyo, and it's just like perfect. So in case something goes wrong, I got all these golf courses that I can land on. And also it's a giant island, right? So you got a lot of beach area too. So if you need to put it down in the water and you need to put it down on the sand, easily done. But that was really cool. So what we would do when I started flying is I love taking night flights
Really?
in the summertime. And here's why. Because every Friday and Saturday in Tokyo and all the provinces around Tokyo, all the little cities, every Friday and Saturday from like June till August, they have massive fireworks shows.
Whoa.
Every Friday and Saturday. So it's like 4th of July, but in like you can see it from like, it'd be Austin, Buda, Pflugerville, like every place is just lighting up every Friday and Saturday. So if you go up in a little Cessna, you're only 3,000 feet in the air. These things are popping off at like 1,500 feet. So you're literally flying and they're like popping all around you.
Dude, that's crazy.
And
I've
so
never
I have a lot
thought
of-
about seeing a fireworks show from above the
Man.
fireworks show.
So we would just go up and circle around like the sky tree and come back around. So that giant, kind of looks like a, what's the name of it? Like in Seattle, the Space Needle, but like 5 times as big. So you go like circle that, and while you're circling that, it's just like fireworks all over the horizon right underneath you.
That's
It's
awesome.
really rad, yeah. So I was lucky enough to start flying in Tokyo, seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so when do you think you'll be able to get your pilot license?
I have several more hours to go.
Yeah.
And, having a busy schedule is fine, but I have my weekends are pretty much off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start getting back up in the air pretty soon.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I just think about like, being able to walk around and stuff helps for travel. But then once you're able to drive a car,
Yeah.
it opens your world up even more. But I can just imagine being able to fly a plane. You're like just traveling like crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it still is expensive to do that. But to have the ability to just fly around, that's like teleporting almost.
Weirdly, yeah. I mean, it would take you such and such amount of time to get a certain place, but like, no, we'll just go hop in the plane. We'll be there in an hour.
That's so cool.
That kind of stuff. And that was always kind of fun. It's like, yeah, we'll take off. We'll go have lunch over here, which is like a 3-day drive, but not a 3-day drive, but like a full day's drive. We'll just fly there, have lunch, and fly back, and that'll be the training for the day. That's your hours in.
One day, I'm gonna learn to fly, but I'm excited for you learning to fly.
Yeah,
and
man,
you can
you
just
come up
be my
anytime.
chauffeur.
Like I can bring guests, so if you want to sit back seat and just come up there while we're doing some maneuvers, it's fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome. A podcast in the air.
Hell yeah, dude. But we'll definitely have you'll really like David. He's a sweet guy. David Frost is a real nice dude.
Yeah.
And he's also a rad dude. He's a huge snowboarder. Like, he's one of those guys. He's real fun.
Yeah.
So he's always been a good buddy. And I've known him for like 12 years. So yeah, it's cool to have him here in Austin because he just moved here and didn't know anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was in I think he was in Arizona. Bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit. But yeah, he was in like Denver and like Phoenix or something. He was doing training.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to make it to Phoenix, but I'm in Flagstaff. Maybe we'll run into each other. And then I ended up moving back to Austin after I hit Seattle and came back. And he moved here, and he was just like, I hope everything's going cool over there in Seattle. I'm like, I'm actually Gesundheit.
I'm sorry. That's
You're
rude
fine,
of me.
man. It's.
Yeah, I can't
Austin is
control
like-
it, to be honest, so I'm not sorry.
Yeah, you're not sorry.
I could actually. If I tried really hard, I could.
Don't let it loose, man. A good
I've heard
sneeze is good.
somebody died from that, I heard. From holding in
They
a sneeze.
blew a valve.
Yeah.
But yeah, Austin and San Antonio are like two of the worst cities to relocate to if you have seasonal allergies. That's for sure.
I might have one more sneeze in me, just a heads up.
I'm fine with it, man.
But,
let it loose. I take Ciurczak every day, dog.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have to. These cedar trees get me.
Yeah. Cedar fever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, have you ever skydived?
I have not jumped out of a plane, but
Okay.
I am now an advanced indoor skydiver.
Oh.
Have you ever done the indoor, the wind tunnels?
No. What's that place called?
So we have one here in Austin called iFly.
iFly, yeah.
Yep. So it's funny, but my instructor that was here at iFly, when I brought my girlfriend from Germany over years ago, I
Yeah.
took her to North Carolina to visit some of my family, and there's a place over there called Paraclete. My instructor that was here at iFly moved there, and when I took my girlfriend to go do that, he was her instructor too.
Oh, okay.
But because he knew I was advanced and he knew that he had trained me, he actually let me take my girlfriend in and show her how to fly.
Wow.
So that was really fun. I have videos of that because we were there. We were the only two civilians there. Well, I was technically military at the time.
Yeah.
But the other guys were was the Army Golden Knights. So if you ever go to see an air show and they do the parachute guys come out with the smoke on their feet.
Oh, yeah.
And they do all the cool maneuvers where they're stacking on top of each other.
Oh,
so we
yeah.
were there training with them.
Just vaping in the sky.
Yeah.
Blowing
Blowing
big
smoke,
clouds.
man. Blowing
Oh, yeah.
clouds. But those guys were there doing training. So those guys recorded it for me. So they have a video of me taking my girlfriend up in a tunnel and like spinning her around and stuff. So it was really cool.
German girlfriend?
Yeah, she's German.
You guys broke up?
Yeah, she moved. She got a job, moved to New Zealand,
Oh, okay.
and so that was kind of the end of that. But we stayed friends. So she's back in Germany now. I know that, but yeah, we haven't talked in a while. But yeah, she's doing good. Last time I talked to her. So
It's good to stay cordial.
yeah, I'm friends with a lot of my exes actually.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
I guess that's a good sign that I'm not a complete dirtbag.
Yeah. Haha. Yeah, man. Love. You looking for love?
I mean, I took a break.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I couldn't stand the idea of getting the virus again, giving it to one of my elderly, parents,
Yeah.
and them dying from it. So I really I was really, really careful about that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, aside from going out and doing comedy, like I think you even saw me. I'd go out and do comedy. I'd wipe down the microphone first. I think we all had those wipes and shit.
Yeah.
And I think the usual bit that I did was like, yeah, it's like not wiping down the microphone. It's like a bunch of comedians all using the same condom.
Haha.
We're just trading it off.
Yeah.
Giving each other diseases. But yeah, I was as careful as I could be when it came to that stuff. But
Yeah.
we were all pretty careful. My mom's a really big hugger, and that was my biggest fear.
Oh, yeah.
Was she was just gonna go out without a mask at Target and just hug people. I'm like, Jesus, Mom. She's a real sweet lady.
But yeah, what do you do to get out? Like we were talking at the beginning, but like you get on Tinders or what? How do you meet someone?
I've
Go to a
never
bar?
done that. I think one of my friends, I think it was called Bumble. Is that the other one where the
Yeah.
girls contact you first? I think I had that for like a half second before I felt gross. I felt like I was prostituting myself.
Haha.
And so I was like, nah, I'll just let this come organically,
Yeah.
if I meet somebody.
Yeah.
So, but when I wasn't sure if I was staying in Austin or if I was going, but now that I know for sure, I've planted roots here, probably pretty soon. But
you find you a good Texas girl or guy?
Texas girl or guy, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those. It's a good question. Never really been one for settling down. Don't really want to get married or have kids or anything like that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure most of my insides are scrambled from all the military stuff I've had, so I'm not sure if I even can. But
Oh, you think you might be infertile?
I don't know. I'm sure I'll get tested one day, but
Yeah.
That's not really on my agenda. I'll put it that way.
That's
not
how a lot of
looking
people
for that.
have kids sometimes by accident, is they think they can't have
I was
kids.
definitely by accident.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah.
See? So that runs in the family. Your dad thought he was infertile, and then... he
No.
was just-
I'm much older than he was when he had kids. So, like he was
Oh.
24, 25. Yeah, probably 24. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm much older. Like so basically, here's the thing. I found this out recently, but any pregnancy over the age of 35 is called a geriatric pregnancy.
Really?
Geriatric. That's something you think of somebody in their 70s, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, if you're above 35, it's like a far less likely chance that it's going to basically stick,
You above 35?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
I'm turning 37 in about 2 months.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks, man. Getting up there. I still feel
Geriatric.
25. Geriatric, yeah. I'm getting into geriatric age. But I don't feel it, so that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, my knee is blown out from military and snowboarding and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, so eventually that's have to be replaced. And my right hip's not great anymore, but that's, again, just...
So you don't hit the slopes anymore?
I definitely will. I had when I took my across the country. That's what I was trying. I was like across the world, and that's not right. Across the country trip, I actually did bring my snowboard and my boots and all my pants and all that. So I was prepared to go hit like Mount Rainier
Yeah.
when I got to Seattle. Never did. We just went golfing a lot more, which is fun because right after I had lunch with you yesterday, I went to the golf course.
Oh,
I
yeah?
hit some balls. Yeah, man.
Get a hole in one?
No, I was just I was at the driving range, just
Oh,
getting
okay.
just getting the feel of it again. I haven't been in a while.
Just getting your stroke back?
Just getting the stroke back, man.
Yeah.
Getting to learn those muscles again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's like meditative,
Yeah.
going out there hitting golf balls. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be hitting slopes again, man, for
Hell yeah.
sure. But I think I told you yesterday, the first thing I'm definitely doing is I'm going back to Hawaii, dog. I gotta go
Oh,
see
yeah,
Waikiki.
dude. You surf?
I've never surfed. I always
Wow.
wanted to, but I've never done it.
Yeah, you'll pick it up.
But Waikiki is not a good place for surfing because there's no waves. But just north of Waikiki, up at the North Shore near Turtle Beach and all that, that's the North Shore. That's where the surfing's at, Brian. It's like,
Yeah, but
That's
if
where the
you're
waves
learning
are.
for the first time, Waikiki is a great place to just hit some little slow rollers.
yeah. You surf?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking A, man.
Uh,
That's one of those things that you're not strapped to it or anything. It's just all,
yeah.
but at least you're falling into water. But
No, if you're learning, Waikiki it's a good
good spot.
So
Cool,
go
man.
go over there and
I think because
try it out.
the hotel that's right there on Waikiki for it's U.S. military and veterans is the Halakoa
Uh-huh.
is a resort, and I think they do have like surf lessons and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely take advantage of that
Hell yeah.
because that's definitely where I'm staying. Because right next door it's like $1,000 a night,
Yeah.
and then for us it's a lot cheaper.
Well, dude, I mean, it's I'm happy to see you in a better place.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you caught me
Then
kind of at a depression there for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone was kind of going through some shit, and I know you were looking for work, and
Yeah.
it's just good to see that now you found a new job,
Yeah, man.
and you're
Getting
you
back
seem to
to
be
it.
lit up more and kind of re-energized and
100%.
excited to get back into comedy. And
Oh God, yeah. I need to get back on stage, dude.
yeah, it's cool. I mean, you're traveling the country doing what are you doing? Pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, I work in medicine now.
And that's, I mean, are you in a happy place now? Do you feel
Yeah,
like
man.
you feel
Absolutely. I'm feeling great.
That's
I
freaking awesome.
traveling the country right now, and the best part about doing a job in the medical field is it's always going to be needed, and 2, it sends me all over the country, which means I can go do shows in those cities. And my bosses have no problem with the fact that I do comedy, so because they just know it's performance, and they also know that because I'm a comedian, I'm good at talking to people.
Yeah.
And that's most of my job is talking to people, so it's fun.
And the good thing about being a comedian at a job is when you make a mistake, you can just be like, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
I'm a comedian, man.
Yeah,
Look me up.
they're like, why did you overprescribe this old lady with all this Vicodin?
Oh God, no, that doesn't
you're like,
happen
it's
anymore.
a joke. Kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Just
a
kidding.
Just a little knee slapper. Was that dark?
No, not at all. I can tell you right now that since that opioid crisis and stuff, there's definitely new protocols. Like they're
Yeah.
very, 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 very eyes on with that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
because it's still it's like that stuff is still necessary, but necessary for what it's actually needed for.
Yeah.
I can tell you, like, this is true. When I was in high school, which is like the early 2000s, I was a tennis player, and I would get ingrown toenails a lot. And anytime they'd have to cut those out, they'd give me like a prescription for 40 Vicodin with a refill for 40, when all it would require is like Tylenol.
Yeah.
So every time they did that, they would just give me fistfuls of Vikes, and I was like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, they don't do that anymore.
How are your ingrown toenails?
Oh, they're
these
fine.
days?
They
That's good.
put some like silver acid or some shit on it, so the sides don't grow anymore.
Oh,
so
okay.
look like totally normal toenails now.
Yeah.
I
Can
do
we
miss-
see him? You want to show the camera?
So no, I got to take my socks off and everything.
Oh, okay.
If I was wearing flip flops, maybe on the plane episode,
Oh, okay.
I'll show my feet
We'll
on
put
the
some
plane.
pics up for the Patreon, maybe. Feet pics.
Here's some feet pics.
I want to see the before and after.
Here's the piggies, man.
Dude, if you saw my toenails right now, it's not a pretty sight.
Are they gnarly?
Dude, I used to take pride in the way my feet looked. Like they were like.
Got these
like-
those softies, nice
Well,
softy
yeah,
feet.
I mean, I used to thought about doing feet modeling or something like that back in the day.
Oh,
But
man.
now I got like ogre feet. Like just in the last year, I was playing. I think it's from basketball. I was playing basketball
That'll do
with too small of shoes.
Yeah, that'll
And so
definitely
now
do it.
my big toes have like blood clots under them or something
oh
like
Jesus,
that.
man.
And I got blisters all over the place. It's embarrassing. Like I don't even want to wear flip flops outside because. Do you want to see?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get weird, dude. What's this for?
I don't even know if I should show the camera,
it's fine.
but like, do you
fucking
see
tell.
that?
Oh yeah, you got
And then the other one's like that too.
you got
Maybe I'll
gnarled up a
just
bit. Yeah, you're fine.
put it
Oh
up.
God, yeah. There you go.
Should I not show that?
No, show it. Let the people, let
I'm
the world
quite
see, man.
embarrassed.
Oh,
I'm
it's
quite
fine.
embarrassed, but
That's why we're comedians, because we're embarrassed, but we'll still do it.
yeah,
Right?
I kind of want people to know, just so like, because you don't want to run into someone with your gross feet out and then be like, this guy has gross feet. But if I say it first, then they can anticipate.
Sure.
But this has been like a couple months and it's not going away.
Oh, maybe time to go see a podiatrist.
You think? What are they gonna do?
I
Get little
don't-
robots under my toenail, or?
That I'm not sure about that. Those little hematomas, yeah. It
But
might.
this is pretty gross, right?
I don't think it's that gross.
You're kind of into it.
No, not into it. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's like it seems like normal body function. Like you wore shoes that were too small playing basketball. It seems like you probably squished them pretty good. Might have ruptured some capillaries or something underneath there. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
I just don't want to be the
if it's been a few months, maybe get it checked out. But it might just go
I
away
got-
on its own.
got blisters.
Feet are weird, man. Feet are weird.
But the thing is, when I play basketball, I feel like it doesn't help it. Or when I go for a run, like I feel like I'm
Sure.
not allowed. Like I feel like I need to be wheeled around in a wheelchair for a couple months for it to heal.
Otherwise,
'cause I-
you're just putting more punishment on them.
Right. That's
Gotcha.
what I
Gotcha.
feel
Gotcha.
like. So
That's a
what
good
would
question.
Would you give me advice, or what? Should
I'll-
I just be a sock guy? Should I never show my toes again?
No, definitely not. You should let them loose, man. I think they
Yeah.
need to breathe.
Did you notice them?
Not at all.
Really?
Nope.
Yeah.
I was not looking. It's not one of those things that his dick's out.
Yeah. I mean, this to me is more off-putting than seeing a dick.
I'm not a foot guy, but if
Really?
it's just I'm like I don't get off on seeing people's feet.
Are you
But-
grossed out by feet?
To a certain level, here I'll tell you this: like I am a bit of a germaphobe, but one of the things that makes me like really, when I read this, it was like the foot at rest leaks out over 8 ounces of sweat in a day, in a 24-hour period, right? So it's just like, to me, like shoes and socks are just like the most disgusting things ever, because all that
Ooh.
shit goes out through your feet, right?
8 ounces?
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's like half a Coke,
Yeah, that's
just poured into your sock and chew.
Yeah, a little 8 ounce.
It just burns off as it goes, so it's just.
You heard
constantly
that?
leaking. Yeah, I read it somewhere. I'd have to look it up again, but yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, and I think socks.
Even if it's
do
not
that.
true, my head thinks it's true, and that's why I'm like, I'm not touching fucking feet, man.
Yeah, little piggies.
Yeah.
Do you have a fetish though? If it's not feet, what are you into?
I'm really vanilla, man.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty vanilla. Yeah.
You don't get out there. You don't get too crazy with it.
I mean, not too crazy. No. I
Yeah.
mean, it's I could probably. I'll say this: I've played Never Have I Ever with people, and I've gotten like shithoused because I've done a lot.
Whoa.
But I've never, I mean, I've done a lot, but for the
You
most
try
part, I'll try almost anything. You
Yeah.
know. And if
That's all you
the
can
girl
ask
has
for.
if a girl has a thing, I'm like, cool, we'll try it, sure. You know,
Yeah.
if it's her thing, I'm happy to oblige. I'm very accommodating
Oh yeah.
in the boudoir. I'm all right with it.
But you wouldn't take your toes out for me, so
Yeah, but I gotta take my
Says
socks
something.
and shoes and shit off. Yeah.
yeah.
Next time, man, I'll wear my flip flops on the plane. We'll show them on the plane.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we should have touched on before?
I'll ask you. What's your favorite place to do comedy here?
Favorite spot
Yeah.
is.
Because I know we talked about Wake the Dead being a good show down in
I mean,
San
that was
Marcos.
awesome
That's a
in
good
San
one.
Marcos. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
man.
to go
I've done
there
it a
every
few times.
Tuesday.
Definitely.
If I can pick that, I would say that.
It's a small room, but it's really fun. It's fun to play with. It's good people too.
Yeah. I mean, if I can get a crowd at the Creek in the Cave and do well there, then that's a great feeling because
We talked about it yesterday. I know everybody there, and I've never
Yeah.
gone, and I
You gotta
need
go
to
check
go.
it out.
Yeah, because I know Kanane was there
Yeah.
over the summer. He just popped in because he knows
Oh,
Rebecca
yeah, I
and
saw him
everybody.
there.
Yeah,
He
so
killed.
Kanane was there.
It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
Kanane's great, man. He's my favorite. If I had to pick,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Something about that gruff voice.
Yeah.
Something about the way he does his math. You know, his comedic math is just so good.
Yeah. Well, and when you can just have a guy up there who you just feel like is just talking to you,
Mhm.
you know, it doesn't.
That's
it
when
just
you know
feels
they're
so natural.
That's when you know they're that good. Is when it sounds like they're giving it no effort.
Right. You're just like, oh, this is just some old guy up here. Just.
Yeah. When they're giving it no effort, they don't put on like the comedy voice,
Yeah.
you know, and they're just there doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're just so comfortable in that space. And I think you've seen me. Like, I'm more comfortable on stage than I am one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but for some reason, maybe it's like some kind of narcissistic tendency or something, but I just really like being in front of people.
Yeah.
Because I've been a performer my entire life. Like, I went to college for theater, you know.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Thespian.
Thespian, yeah, man. And
Hell
then
yeah.
in Tokyo, I was playing music like 6 times a month.
Mm.
Because what a lot of people what I didn't know is that whole place is just peppered with jazz and blues clubs.
Really?
And when they heard I was from Austin, Texas, they're like, "Oh, blues!" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I played blues a lot there
Yeah.
with Japanese people. And there's some fucking rad musicians in Japan, man.
Hell yeah.
So that was really cool to be able to go and play music. Which, by the way, a lot of them spoke English, and I would do comedy bits in between songs.
Yeah.
So I would tell jokes in between songs as well. So, which was great. I'll tell you this: when I got into acting, my teacher gave me a monologue to learn, and I hated the monologue. I thought it was a shit monologue.
Yeah.
So I made my own, and it was I just basically did stand up for 5 minutes in a monologue that I wrote. And then
That's
she was like,
awesome.
"Well, that's not the assignment." So then I did her monologue, and then she pulled me aside and said, "You might not be an actor, but there's always room in this world for storytellers." And that's when I realized I like doing comedy.
Hell yeah. Dude, I mean, now that I think about it, that's kind of what got me into wanting to do comedy too, was I didn't do any theater or anything in college, but I took just as a elective, an acting, I guess intro to theater class or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. And, we were doing improv and we were doing, memorizing stuff
Yep.
and getting up on stage and getting laughs in there. That was like my first introduction to like, oh, this feels great. And that became my favorite class. I
Yeah.
looked forward to going every week.
I got roles in plays, and I had a lot of nonverbal roles.
Uh-huh.
I would just do pratfalls and like slapstick shit,
Yeah.
and it would make even if it was a serious show, I would be doing like slapsticky kind of stuff
Yeah.
that would make the audience laugh.
Yeah.
It would piss off the director, but I would still do that kind of stuff because I just got addicted to laughter.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear people make their joy noise, and so
It's the best feeling.
It's the
huh?
best feeling in the world. So once I got like really doing into stand up and not realizing, like my friend and I in college started a thing called the Venue, and it still goes on to this day. And but we would do music and all kinds of bits and stuff, and it was just that was really like my first taste at like 19 was doing like stand up for my college and stuff. So, and then for years I didn't know like, oh, what I was doing then was like comedy performance and stand up and stuff. So I just never gave it a name because I grew up in the era of listening to like Bill Cosby and George Carlin, stuff like that. Because that was more, to me, that was more storytelling. I didn't know that was like called stand up comedy.
Right.
You know.